Hi, welcome all. Actually, we were eagerly waiting for an Upanishad session by Shri Bindoji. Often we used to ask him again and again. Finally, he has kindly consented to take Upanishads. Today, we will start with Mandukya Upanishad once again. That is a very tiny and the most wonderful Upanishads Bindoji has taken. Mandukya Upanishad is it's found in Atharva Veda and it is the very shortest Upanishads. Okay, it's having only 12 mantras, but clubbed with the Karikas, it has got a different extension altogether. So, without wasting much time, I request Arvindoji to start with the Upanishad. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jadaviti. ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नो गुरुभ्यः शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. The Shanti mantra for this Upanishad is Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pakshe Makshabir Yajatraha Stirai Angai Suštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahidam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddashravaha Swasti na Usha Vishwavedaha स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaste all. Since we have heard this Shanti mantra in the Mandukya Upanishad also, I am not taking much time in explaining the Shanti mantra, but for those who have not had the opportunity to be part of the Mandukya Upanishad classes, a brief introduction is being given to this Shanti mantra. He Devaha, O gods, Shrunuyama, may we hear, Bhadram, what is auspicious, Karnabhi, through the ears, Yajatra, O gods, Pashyema, Bhadram, that may also see the Pashyema, we see the auspicious things through Akshibhihi, through the ears, through the eyes, Tushtuvasam Stanubihi, through the body, by glorifying you, Stirai Angai, the limbs which are steady and capable of supporting the body without any problem. Vyashema, may we all enjoy Ayuhu, long life to understand, study, and achieve what is the purpose of a life. Yet Devahitam, what is allotted to us by the Devahitam, by the Devas, for the purpose of this life. Indraha Vriddashravaha, may Indra and Vriddashrava is a Brihaspati, Dadayu na swasti, Naham means for us, may Dadatu swasti, let us be blessed with the auspiciousness. Vishwavedaha Pushaha, the omniscient Son, na swasti, let him bless us with the auspiciousness. Tarshya Rishtanemi, all the obstacles may it be removed, like how Garuda is removing the obstacles on the way. Swasti Naha Brihaspati, may Brihaspati all bless us with the auspiciousness. Swasti, again Swasti to all the Devas. Om Shanti 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 is standing for the three Shanti. Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika and Adhyatma. First Shanti for Adi Bhautika, from the world which has been created. Bhautika means created. For the created world from where obstacles can come to the study. Then comes Adi Daivika, which is controlled by the nature. Daiva means like, I know, torrential rain, cyclone, or any other D type of things of us, that Adi Daivika. That also let it not disturb us from our studies. And the third and the last one is Adhyatma, the internal. Atman means Swarupa, from within. Let there not be clash in understanding what the teacher is being taught. So Om Shanti 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 is the this is the Shanti mantra for this Atharva Veda Upanishads. Both Mandukya and Manduka, you will find the same thing is happening. So here, unlike the other Upanishads, Shankaracharya has written through two Mangala shlokas for this Upanishad, which is basically giving a gist of the entire Upanishad and the Karikas. He has presented it in the form of a prayer to the Turiya as a part of the Mangalacharanam for by his. This is unusual because Shankaracharya has not written Mangalacharanam for most of his creations in the Upanishad Bhashya. But here we are finding two of them. So some say that the first one part is for the Upanishad part, and the second one is part is for the Karika part. But both convey the same meaning. When we go through it, we will understand. So the first and the second Mangala shlokas I'll chant together. Then I'll take up one by one and explain it. Prachnam Shupradhanai Sthirajiranigarai Vyapibir Lokan Bhuktva Bhogan Savishtan Punaridishanodbasitan Kamajanyan Pītvā sarvān visheshan swapiti madurabhum mayaya bhojayanno maya sankyam turiyam paramamardamajam brahmayastannatosmi yo vishwatma vidija vishayan prasya bhogan stavishtan paschananyan swamamati bhagavan ज्योतिषास्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरविशनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणैः पात्वनस्तत्सुरीयः. So, प्रज्ञाशुप्रदानैः स्थिरचर निकरै vyapya lokan is the first line. Prajnanshu is the rays of the prajna or the rays of knowledge, the way in which. In that pradhanai, sthira chara nikarai, both the sentient and insentient, being enlightened, vyapya lokan, which has been spread through the all sorts of experience. Lokan here is standing for experiences. These experiences are being enlightened by the light of prajna or the awareness in the sthira chara nigara, in the form of sthira, and chara means sentient and insentient. Then bhuktva bhogan stavishtan, having enjoyed the bhogas or the enjoyments in the stavishtan, in the all the things which is available in that world of experiences. Punarapi, again, Dishanodbasitan Kama Janyan. Dishana, Dhi means intellect or the mind. Dishanobasitan, enlightened by the mind or the intellect within ourselves. Kama Janyan means Janyan due to Kama, what has been born out of desire. That is, he is referring here to the dream. The dream is a creation of desires which are not physically possible to be enjoyed in the physical world. The mind projects as they are to be enjoyed within the world of the dreamer. Pitva Sarvan Visheshan, having drunk or enjoyed all the speciality of that, those world of Kamajanyan, of the world of dream, Swapiti Madhura Bhung, Mayaya Bhojayanno, Swapiti Madhura Bhung, and then residing in the Supiti or in the deep sleep as Madhura Bhung or the Ananda book or the one who is in absolute bliss after having the fought the Sthirachira Nigara in the waking world and having enjoyed and enlightening the world of the dream and the enjoyments in the dream, then he is residing with absolute bliss in the deep sleep. Mayaya bhojayanno, this entire experience is created by Maya. And Maya Sangyam Turiyam. The Turiyam, the word fourth, even though the word Turiyam means fourth, it doesn't mean that it is the fourth. It is a Maya Sankhya. It is a dependent or unreal number. Turiyam means because it itself doesn't have an independent reality in the sense as the fourth one, because it is present in the first one where the waking is there, in the dream is there, and the deep sleep it is there. Therefore, it is called the fourth. Therefore, it is not a real name. Therefore, it is a Maya Sankhya. Turiyam is the fourth one because he is present in all the three, yet not part of the three. Therefore, it is the fourth. And that is what? Param Amritam Ajam. That is the Param, the absolute. Amritam, which doesn't have death or decay. And it doesn't have a birth also. So no birth, no death, and it is absolute. And that is the Brahma. Yannat Tannatosmi. To that Brahma, which is in the form of all those things, which has been explained earlier, to that Brahma is, I bow to that Brahman, is the first Mangala Shloka of the Upanishad. More or less the same thing is reflected, but here he is using the words from the Upanishad itself for explaining the same thing. Yo Vishwatma Vidija Vishayan Prasya Bhogan Stavishtan. So here Vishwatma is that consciousness in the waking state or in the Jagrata Avastha, where Stavishtan Bhogan, which is that concrete Bhogan or concrete experiences, Prasya having consumed, by how does it? Vidija Vishayan, by the Vishayan which has been created by that, for that Vishwatma. Paschat Anyan Swamati Vibhavan Jyotisha Swena Sukshman. Paschat, after that, Anyan, through the other body, Swamati Vibhavan. Swamati means by one's own intellect or one's own mind. Vibhavan, that the multitude of things in this dream world. As not only that, it is also the Jyotisha. It is also the light which is there in the dream, enlightening all the experiences and knowing that we can see the objects, we can taste all the experiences are in the dream is being shined or shining in that Suprakasha, or the one which is from within side. Whereas the world outside, we saw that, like the sun is required for the waking world for us to enjoy the world outside, and knowing that. Svena Sukshman, because they are subtle. And Svena, in the Swapna, Sarvan Etan Punarabhishanai, Sarvan Etan, in these two, which one? The waking and the dream, Sarvan Etan, whatever is there are three of that. The object, the subject, and the matter of enjoy the relationship between the subject object. So etan sarvan, all of them, punarapi shanai, in without any jerk, when such heavy experiences are in the waking and very subtle experiences are in the dream, both we do not even know when it is being abandoned or kept anywhere. That is why the word shanai is used. Swatmani stapayitva, in the swa atman, in one's own existence, he is presenting, he is keeping all those things in the atman, so that when he wakes up again in the same thing is being experienced again. So it is not being destroyed, it is being kept without any disturbance to that state of swatma, swapayitva, hitva sarvan visheshan, all the adjectives which we have in the waking and the dream, hitva, having abandoned, vigada guna ganai, without any top of qualities and adjectives, vigada, without that, he is standing as the fourth, as the turiya, because he is neither related with the deep sleep, nor related with the dream, nor in the waking, but at the same time it is his presence in which all these things are happening. And at the same time he is derived of all those qualities which is being attributed in the waking dream or the deep sleep to that Brahman, which is the form of Turiya, is my prayers, or my, let that may be protect us. Patva, patwas na. Patva means protect us. Let it protect us. So these are the two Mangala shlokas which is unique to this Upanishad. Before we go into the Upanishad and the explanation, we need to understand what is the importance of this particular Upanishad. Unlike all other Upanishads, there are differences and specialities for this Upanishad. First and foremost is, this is the shortest. There are only 12 mantras for this Upanishad. Starting with Ometyeda Aksharamidam Sarvam. That is the beginning word. And with that, as the first mantra onwards, there are only 12 mantras, which can be classified into 3 groups. With the classification, I'll come later. But unlike the other Upanishad, there is no paraphernalia of the Vedas which is being brought here. Here he is talking in the Upanishad, the Muni is talking only about direct Advaita. A person who is not capable of grasping the absolute pure philosophy, he will find this Upanishad not understandable. Because there is no coming down by the Rishi for explaining this. To the level where in the Mandukya we saw that what are the Dvavidya Veditavye, Paracha, Paracha, and then what is Para, what is Apara, all those things, explanations were there in the Mandukya. This is in the same thing, the Mundaka Upanishad. In the Mandukya, which is in the same trajectory, both being the Mundaka Rishi Proktam, Mundaka Upanishad also, and Mandukya. Mandukya is Tasyapatyam, Mandukya. Mundaka Pityam is Mandukya. That is, it's also from in the lineage of Mundaka only this Upanishad is also coming. But here, he has abandoned all the paraphernalia or descriptions with typical the Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda people are familiar with. So definitely this Upanishad is not meant for people who are into ritualistic, traditional approach to their day-to-day duties and all. This is meant for to be heard by a Uttamadhikari. Uttamadhikari is the one who have the best of sadhana chatushtaya. Now, sadhana chatushtayam are the fourfold qualities which are required for a spiritual seeker. The first one being sadhana chatushtaya, shat sambatti, which is the shamadhamadi shatkam. What does a shamadhi shatkam? I'm not getting into the details because we all have gone through that before. Is basically the physical discipline which is required for tuning oneself for this spiritual life. So Shama, Dhamma, Uparadi, Shraddha, Shamanti, Diksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, all those things the 6 of them will come there. Having trained the physical and the mental bodies of the individual, the person has to develop a sort of detachment or disinterest in the sensualities of the world outside. His mind is no more running away after the objects of enjoyment. Such a person is the one who has developed a vairagya, which is the second quality which is required. Now, when the vairagya comes, there is a chance that you will not remain in the state of vairagya forever unless you are supported by viveka. Vairagya is the detachment. Viveka is the knowledge which helps the detachment. How does the viveka or the knowledge help the detachment? By bringing the reality of the sensual objects or the distractions. Are they permanent or are they transitory in nature? Why am I running after transitory things? And therefore, more and more abandoning of the transitory things towards moving to which is the ultimate reality, which is on which I can depend upon, that which will not change. Yad vyabhijarate tat, yad na vyabhijarate tat satyam is what Shankaracharya says. That which doesn't change is the only truth. Anything which is changing is not true because that is momentarily being experienced. So Viveka is coupled with Vairagya is mandatory for understanding the spiritual qualities. Now Viveka will not come without what? Vichara. Vichara is Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. What is transient, what is permanent. This type of an analysis, the Vichara, is what is required, which will increase the quality of the knowledge on the seeker. And these two will make him more detached from the worldly pleasures because he knows that these are all bondage to me, because the moment I am attached to something that binds me to it. So I'm not free from bondage unless I am detached to it. This detachment from this bonding nature of the world and to be permanently free from that is what is called the moksha or mumukshutva. Moktum icha, the one to be in free from the clutches of the sensualities of the world is what is the fourth. So after having achieved all those things, if the mind is prepared for listening to the higher level of philosophy, only such a person should listen to Mandukya Upanishad. The reason why is that Muktika Upanishad is one of the main Upanishads in the 108 Upanishads. In the Muktika Upanishad, it narrates all the 108 Upanishads which are important for spiritual attainment. In that, there is one statement, Mandukya meva malam mumukshunam vimokshaye. That is, Mandukya is the only Upanishad which is required if somebody really wants to be free from the bondages of samsara or the worldly life. So that is the permanence or the prominence given to the Mandukya Upanishad in the Muktika Upanishad. The same thing is repeated in the dialogue between Sri Rama and Hanuman also, where Sri Rama says the same words of the Muktika Upanishad to Hanuman, saying that this Mandukyam eva malam. The alam means enough. That alone is enough for mumukshunam, for those who are seeking the freedom from the worldly thing, vimokshaye, for the mukti. So having said that, that is the prominence with which this Upanishad has been treated by centuries or millennia in the Indian philosophical cycle. So, what is the speciality of this Upanishad to that extent? Because if you look at it, in all the Upanishad, there is a dialogue between a teacher and the student, or some sort of a story is there, where the in the Katha Upanishad you heard that dialogue between Yama and Nachiketa. Before that, there is a story of his father giving the Yajna and Sarvaswadanan Yajna. And in the Kena Upanishad, we found that the questions are Keneshidam Padadi Prekshidam Mana Kena Prana Pradama Predi Keneshidam Vachamivam Badandi Chakshushtotram Kahudevo Yunakti. All these questions being asked by the student to the teacher, what is that with which my mind is working? What is that with which the eyes are working? What are the things? Who is the one who is joining what I hear and what I see together to make an experience of the totality? All these type of questions are there in the Kena Upanishad. There also the Guru and Shishya dialogue is there. In this Upanishad, there is no such dialogue. Even in the Mandukya Upanishad, which is part of this Atharva Veda, we saw that, Yatnyatva sarvamitam vitnyadam bhavati. He is asking that Angirasan is being asked, what is that knowledge with which everything, if I learn, everything else will be known? So these type of dialogues are there. Whereas in the Mandukya Upanishad, there is no such dialogue. It is a straight away, Shruti is telling us exactly what is to be heard. There is not even one word of extra which can be called as an extra in this Upanishad. Every one word has got its own predominance and a placement which is giving us the direct knowledge. And if one can understand the direct knowledge of this Upanishad, he doesn't have to further study any other Upanishad. So being that it is a dry subject without any paraphernalia, so normally people are not attracted toward this because they also think it is a smaller 12 mantras. What can I learn from the 12 mantras unless it is taught for, I heard, 12 years. So you can say each mantra should be taught for 1 year. Then only he becomes a brahmachari, 12 years of education. So those sort type of thoughts are there. But Gaudapada Acharya, who is the guru of Shankaracharya's guru, Govindapada, he had to take special effort and compose a poetic commentary called Karika. Karika basically means poems. He wrote these Karikas mainly to make it simpler for those who want to study these 12 mantras. And since it is related to the mantras, he has placed it along with the first chapter. Whereas the whole Karika itself by itself is being divided into four chapters. The first one being called Agama Prakaranam, the second one being called Vaidatya Prakaranam, the third one called Advaita Prakaranam, and the last one is Alada Shanti Prakaranam. Now, why has Gaudapada divided this into four categories? Agama Prakaranam, Agama means Shastram or Shruti. Here is all the 12 mantras and Gaudapada's narration or explanation of the 12 mantras intermingled between the mantras and the karikas are placed. That's why when you see the Mandukya Upanishad, you will find that the mantras are not first and their explanations coming later. No. He has placed his own commentaries in such a way that what mantras you study, that is being explained by the following karikas. And then the next mantra comes. Then some karikas. Then next mantra. Then like that is the place. And the whole thing is covered in the Agama Prakarana, where you have 29 or 28 or 29 slokas from Gaudapada and 12 mantras of Upanishad. This is in the Agama Prakarana. Totally, there are 215 Karikas by Gaudapada. And this division is important is because in the Agama Prayarana, what has to be told has been already told. There is nothing more to be told. So the traditional teachers say that if you have understood the Agama Prakarana and you have listened to that and understand that, the remaining three Prakaranas are not for those who have understood the first Prakarana. But if you still want to listen to it, that means your Agama Prakarana you have not understood completely. Because there is nothing more to be told after the Agama Prakarana. Yet, why did Gaudapada Acharya create a second chapter called Vaidatya Prakaranam? Now, the word Vaidatya means illusion or mithya. So, having told the truth in the first chapter, he is writing a second chapter which is called the mithya or the illusion aspect of the, the details which have been told in the first one. Why from the first, if the truth is the truth alone, Advaitam Paramarthata, if that is the truth, where does the mithya or the illusion have a place? This is what is being he is being placing in the second chapter. After having told the absolute reality in the first chapter, the illusion or the mithya in the second chapter, the third chapter of Advaita Pararanam is bringing that even though there are apparently these two are separate, there is no two, there is only one. That is why Advaitam. There is no two, there is only one. One is the reality, one is the dependent reality. The dependent reality do not have an independent existence. One who knows that, he has understood what is Advaita. So that is the third chapter. So having understood the Advaitam in the third chapter, which is much more simplified because of thanks to Gaudapada through his Karika, Gaudapada goes to the fourth chapter where illusions or explanations are given by Alata Shanti Prakaranam. Alatam means a torch. Those days before invention of electricity, they were used to have a wooden stick. At the tip of the wooden stick used to be burnt for as a torch. That's a wooden torch, what they call it as. And when it is rotated, when it is in rotation, you find a circle. So this is the Alata Shanti Prakaranam. So that is what where the Alata is example is used. But major aspect of that chapter is those who are opposing Advaita are being exposed by Gaudapada in his Karika by their own follies. He is not fighting to establish Advaita. No way. He doesn't have to. All he had to expose is that the follies in their own philosophy, whether it is Sankhya, Bauddha, or Dvaita, Vishittadvaita, whichever may be the philosophers who is challenging Advaita, their follies are being exposed in those chapters. So, those who have understood Advaita want to establish and feel that, they don't get distracted by other philosophies which can come up and challenge you, or when you get exposed to such philosophies, you should not be misled that have and develop a doubt on Advaita. For that purpose, the fourth chapter has been written by Gaudapada. So this is the overall picture of Mandukya Upanishad. Now, how does Mandukya Upanishad present the subject which is not capable to be grasped by the mind? Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha is what is the statement is. That truth which is not possible within the words to be explained and not fathomable by the mind. How can that subject be so crystal clear explained by a Shastra or an Upanishad within just 12 mantras? And out of the 12 mantras, only six mantras are being used. 7 mantras are being used for really narrating. The 8th to 12th mantras are a follow-up on Upasana or type of a Upasana type of a thing where you want to meditate upon, or rather meditate, the word Nididhyasana will be a better word to use. Who want to do Nididhyasana on that? That is the 8th to 12th mantras. So in the 7 mantras, how can that which cannot be explained between the words, which cannot be grasped to the mind, be made available in such crisp words by the Upanishad? To understand that, I have to pause you here and take you to the methodology of word and knowledge. This is a very important aspect. What we should understand is that how can knowledge arise is a fundamental question which has been asked by philosophers from time immemorial. Vedanta, by definition, has accepted 6 pramanas. Pramana means pramakaranam pramanam. That instrument which is the primary method through which knowledge is conveyed is called a pramana. Now, what are the pramanas which are accepted by the Vedanta? Pratyaksha, Anumana, Arthapatti, Upamana, Anupalabdhi, Shabda. These are the 6 of them. Pratyaksha means a direct perception, is through Indriya. Our sense organs are giving senses from the world outside, and we get a knowledge of what we see. Whether they are real, unreal is not a question right now. Right now, what the purpose of the instrument is that eyes can only show us what can be lit or eligible for light to show us, which shows that in the darkness, eyes are there, but light is not there. Eyes are useless to show us what is present in a dark room. So perception, even though has a potency to show us, it also has a limitations where it can show and everything. At the same time, it is applicable to all the 5 sense organs and the 6th one, which is the mind. But mind has something more which we can grasp it. That is called Anumana. Anumana is an inference which is in the intellectual field or in the mind based on data which has been collected by the Indriyas. For example, when we see a smoke coming at a far off place, the smoke arising from that place cannot come without fire is an inference. Now, this inference is because we have seen all in an earlier occasion through our eyes that fire produces not only the flames and burning things, it also is giving out smoke. Therefore, wherever smoke is there, the fire has to be there. But there are occasions when I have seen fire when it is burning 100%, yet there is no smoke. So presence of fire will not give me smoke, but presence of smoke I can reduce or I can understand inference from that. If there is a smoke, there has to be a cause for it, which is the fire. This is called the inference or anumana. Then arthapatti is a presumption based on again on data. Same way, like how we have in the case of is a knowledge based on the inference, the date with data which we have acquired through our sense organs. We also presume that certain things there we are not having a karyakarana sambandha, or the cause and effect relationship is not seen directly, but there is a presumption that if it is there, then it has to have a cause for it. The cause is also not seen, the effect is also not seen, but if the cause and effect, there is a relationship that both can have to be always together. Then comes the upamana based on comparison or a simile. You say that, examples are used to give knowledge about that. So wherever comparison is being done for explaining something which is not present there directly, you get the knowledge of the thing which is not present directly by showing something which is similar to that. So that is upamana. Anupalabdhi is the absence of Anumana type of a thing. When there is an absence of something, you get to know that the absence has happened due to a certain thing which was previously existing there. So Anupalabdhi or the absence also gives us the knowledge. See, I mean, the examples, I'm not going to the examples so that, it will become a long talk. I don't want to get into that, but my main purpose is to how the knowledge arises. The sixth and last one, which is accepted by the Vedantin across the board, is Shabda Pramanam. How words can give us knowledge. This is the reason why this Upanishad uses this method of knowledge transmission for conveying the truth, which cannot be conveyed through the words. He is using the words to convey the message. Now, if you look at it, how does it happen? In the Vakyapatiya, there is a text by Bhartrhari, he is very famous philosophy, grammarian come philosopher. And he has also written very good books like Niti Shatakam, Vairagya Shatakam, all those three books. He writes that Idamandam tamak krishnam jayade bhuvanatrayam yadi shabdahvayam jodira samsaram nadipyate. These worlds, the three worlds of experience, not only experience, the three worlds, Jagrat Swapna Sushupti would not have been complete, would not have been possible to be known completely. It will be submerged in the darkness. Andam Tamak Krishnam. Had it been not for the brightness or the brilliance of the words, Sabdahvayam Jodira Samsaram. If that Jyoti of the Shabda, now if you look at, for example, we can't even imagine what the world will be to a person who is deaf. He can see things, but he doesn't know the name of it. Even if he is able to read the scripture, so the script, if you write you can see, you show him an apple, you can write apple there, but how does that sound of telling or pronouncing the word apple is not there for him for cognition because he is deaf. So how does such a person perceive the world cannot be even imagined. If that is the case, what about the person who is blind? And people who have no sensory organs or defective sensory organs, for the world becomes different. The perfect condition of the sensory organs gives us a knowledge of the perfect world. Yet, even in that perfection, we are so deluded that we do not see the truth. Having known everything with the most perfect sense organs, we are still deluded by because we don't see the reality. For example, a pot is being made out of mud. We all know the mud is the same mud which it becomes a pot. Even when we are seeing the pot, we call the pot, we have the name for it, we have the form for it, we do the transaction with the pot as if pot is a reality with the name and form. All transactions are being done, forgetting that name, form, and transaction of that activity is what we are doing has a dependency on the mud, which has given the name and the shape. This dependent reality of the name called pot and the shape called pot is residing in the mud. So mud is the reality. The name and form cannot remain without the mud. So you cannot separate the name and form without the substratum from which the name and form is being experienced. This is for a person who has got all the in sense organs perfectly available. I'm not talking going into the person who are challenged with the sensory signals. Even for a normal person whose sensory signals are not, we have transacting. Now, if we try to look at all our experiences in our day-to-day life, what I explained about the pot and the mud is the same for everything in our experience. There is a dependency of the name and form on something. Now, how do we know that this? Where do we go with this knowledge? Now, for example, let us assume that you have your mobile in your hand and you have a glass of water on by the side. The glass of water and the mobile has independent existence. They are not depending upon each other for their own existence. But for the glass to be known to me and the mobile to be known to me, I have to be depending upon something with which I know both of it. This dependency of the existence of the glass and the existence of the mobile is based on my perception or my awareness of it. If my awareness is not there, I cannot say the mobile is there or the glass is there, as far as I am concerned. Somebody else may come and see them, for them it is there. That it is not that I am talking about. Each one of us should take our own experience for analysis. This awareness or the knowledge with which I am able to see two non-related substances is the same way which I see myself and the world outside. Myself, when I'm talking here, I'm talking about my body, which is also in the world outside. I am knowing the entire world outside with my knowledge. I am knowing my body also through my knowledge only. Here, knowledge or awareness are used, mix interchangeably. So, from my point of view, both my body and my world of experience or the objects of the experience are existing only when I am aware of them. This experience is of the waking. Same way, the dreaming experience also, you will find that the awareness of the totality of the world of experiences existing in the dream is in awareness. The waking is also in awareness. If you look at the deep sleep, even without the objects present there, no idea of who is existing there, everything, I cannot deny my own existence or my own awareness there. So, when we say that the dependent reality is depending on the awareness for its existence, they have no independent existence. Anything you take in the world, suppose you say that there is a city which is by some unique name, you can say that city is there. As far as I am concerned, till you said that, it was not existing for me. It might have been existing for you, but the moment you told me, it came to my knowledge, and in my knowledge, because of my knowledge, through you as a informer of the knowledge, I have that city is also existing. Whether I see it or not is a different thing. But I know a name, say for example, let us take Singapore or Chennai, whichever may be the city you are referring to. Whether I should see it or not, that's a different question. That is perception. When I go there physically and see the city, it's a different experience. But the existence of that is valid to me only if it comes into my knowledge. This dependency of objects on the knowledge is making the knowledge, the objects knowledge dependent reality. They are not independent reality. Directly or indirectly, it has to come into the knowledge of somebody, then only something. You cannot even imagine anything that can exist within the realm of knowledge or within the realm of unknown. Unknown till the time it is being known, it is unknown, let us say. So you have a set of items which are known, a set of items which are unknown. You know, categorize them all as unknown, categorize some as unknown. The unknown also becomes known the moment somebody brings it out of the unknown to the known. So as far as third party is not there to bring that unknown to me, I categorize them as unknown. It is also existing in my knowledge that there is things which are unknown to me. That existence of the unknown things also has the dependency on my knowledge for their own existence. I may not know specific, but I can categorize them all into unknown. So when I say that my knowledge is limited to the known things, the bigger block which is unknown, but that is also within my knowledge. I may not know the specifics or the names and forms of it, but as far as I'm concerned, a good set of things are existing as unknown to me, a set of things are existing as things are known to me. But both need me as a knower or the one who is having the consciousness or awareness to segregate between the known and the unknown. Outside these two parameters, I can't even imagine anything can exist. Because the moment anything is existing, I am not known, it will fall into the unknown group. If it is something is existing and it becomes known, it will fall into the known group. So without the known and the unknown, nothing can exist, which means both the known and the unknown are knowledge dependent. Therefore, the dependency on the knowledge is the prime factor based on which we have to understand how the Upanishad is going to take us to the unknown thing which we think it cannot be known. Now, how does a sound in the Upanishad is using sound to convey to us? How does the sound become a knowledge to us? In the Bhartrhari's language, there are three categories. What is called Pashyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari. These are the three types of sound which is categorized. Abhinava Gupta in the Kashmiri Shaivism all uses para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. There is one more para is also added to it. But basically, both of them are in the same, in the methodology, the process is the same. Let us take a word. Before I utter the word, there is a desire in my consciousness or awareness to utter a word or to say, to convey to you one word or something. Let's take one word. That desire is the first stage where it creates a vibration in the knowledge or awareness. This is called Spandana or vibration. That vibration immediately travels all the way through the nerves and generates energy like air, muscles, etc., which is in the stage of creating the sound. But it also picks up data which is there in the mind and intellect as either the language, the specific word, that intonation or the utterance, the force with which you have to utter, whether you have to say sweetly or whether you have to say it rash or whether you have to use an abusive type of sound. All those data is picked up from the intelligence or the mind where the memory bank is there. And this madhyama, that is the stage where it is called the madhyama or the middle stage of a thing. That forces the throat to the lip move in particular fashion, particular usage, because all those things are highly developed science is there for this particular pattern of sound producing. Now that which comes out will have the language which intent of mine, my desire to utter the word. If the desire is included in it, the memory and the the type of word to be, which language I have to use, what is the type of force I have to use, whether I have to use a loud sound or a sweet sound or whatever, all sorts of qualities you will find that word is carrying. We are not analyzing these words when we normally hear. This word, when it comes to throughout from the mouth, from the throat onwards, is called the Vaikari. That is the last stage of utterance. Now, when this utterance takes place from the mouth, it creates vibration in the air. That is why the desire has become materialized. The desire to utter a word has now become a matter of vibration of the air. It is a physical movement of the air, which is a matter. This matter in vibration falls on the eardrum of the one who is hearing, and all the qualities which were there in that sound, the desire, the data, everything is transmitted or transferred onto the eardrum of the listener, and the reverse process, what happened in the one who spoke, takes place in the listener, and the desire which was there in the speaker becomes the effect on the one who is listening, because the desire now fructifies as not as a result desire, but the desire has produced a result in the listener. This exactly is the process when the Rishi is teaching us the truth. He has to use this medium of instruction, but he is not instructing about which cannot be instructed, because that there are no words to describe that. That is the place where he uses the other methodology like inference, direction, and the sound and examples, etc., to take the idea which is the desire with which he is speaking in his mind, becomes an effect in the student's mind, and when he listens that, he is in tune with the teacher, unless there are obstructions which he is. That is why the chitta shuddhi or the purity of the mind to listen a subject like this is at most interest. If there is no purity in the mind, that what you are hearing from the teacher will get tainted or colored by your tendencies, and that tendencies will misguide you, and you will have the three type of defects on it. Either you will not understand, that is, which is called ignorance. Either you will hear it wrong, that is a misunderstanding, or viparya, or you may doubt what the teacher is saying because you are not grasped, you are not absorbed it fully. So the reaction has not taken place fully because you are obstructing it. So these type of defects takes place in the listener's point of view. From the teacher's point, it is not there because he knows what he is talking, he has conveyed it. This methodology is important for this. Why I'm talking about these methodology and these things are important is that in the 7 mantras of the Upanishad, each word has got its own importance. So unless you keep away your baggage, band and baggage, or your tendencies outside, you will not be grasping the Upanishad in its purity. If you want to come to confirm that to the robots or artificial intelligence, if that is running in your mind, you will not listen to what the Rishi is saying. It is important that with a clear, crystal clear mind, You listen to that. Once you understand it, after that, what you do, you can do the analysis. For that, the other three chapters are there, which can clarify that if you have not understood fully. So it is important that we take this step to understand the Upanishad. And what does the first mantra say? The first mantra itself is says that Om ityetadaksharam idam sarvam tasyopa vyakhyanam bhutam bhavat bhavishyatiti sarvam omkara eva. Om iti etat aksharam idam sarvam. All this idam sarvam. All this what we are now talking about is nothing but Om. The symbol Om is used because that is a script. That is everything. Aksharam means indeclinable or indicable thing. Tasya upakyanam. Upakyanam means the crystal clear exposition of that Om is what is going to be told by this Upanishad. What is that Aksharam? Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyat. Future, present, and past. All are included in it. Iti Sarvam Omkara Eva. All of them are in Omkara. Not only that, Yacha Anyat Trikalatitam. What is beyond the three also is that Tadapi Omkara Eva. Even that is Omkara Eva. This is how the Upanishad is going to start. So you can imagine it is going to talk to you something which is included in all the future, present, and the past of our experiences, and what is not or what is beyond the three, which we cannot even imagine, because we, as a time concept, we have know only the future, present, and past. Can there be something beyond the three? Is not even possible for us to fathom now, right now, unless we understand what the Upanishad is wanting to say. This is how the first mantra itself is talking about. So now you know why the importance of listening correctly and understanding that is important when it comes to an Upanishad of this sort. I have taken 10 minutes extra, but I thought unless I complete to that and introduce you the first mantra of the Upanishad, I will not be doing justice. We will take this first mantra in detail in the coming Friday, same time. Till then, I'll stop here. We will have a question answer regarding this portion which we have now spoken. Now, after that, we can move to the next room. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om. Thank you all. Namaste.